been many years ago now that I was talking to a family member. I think it was over email, I don't remember now. And we were discussing the idea of beliefs, and that individual was basically talking about the idea that they combined various, what they considered the better parts of various sets of faith that they had learned about in the course of their time and travels on planet Earth. I really don't hold with that. And so when I ask you if you combine particularly spiritual beliefs, you should know that in my opinion, it's not something that speaks volumes about your integrity if you do. And what it says, in my personal opinion, is not particularly good. Hello, this is the Daily Summation. I am Kurt, and I'm doing this for Kurt's Religion and Politics. Today is Monday, the 28th of December of 2020. Welcome to everybody who's coming to visit from Rumble on the podcast and on YouTube. I'm glad to have you along, whether you're watching or listening, obviously, or both, because if you're watching, you probably are listening as well. But the subject of today is the idea of combining beliefs. And the first thing that I wanted to do was question what the sort of most basic of your beliefs is. Are you a Christian? That is question one in my viewpoint. It is the question I think that I should be probably asking of just about everybody, because quite frankly, if you're not, I don't suppose it matters a great deal to me whether or not you choose to combine beliefs. Why? Well, because in my view, if you're not a Christian, you're starting from a place where it really doesn't very much matter what you do from there. And here's the thing. I'm not trying to disparage you or belittle you or tell you that I think that you don't have every right or whatever to choose some other belief. I'm not trying to say that. I'm just saying that from my point of view and in my perspective, if you don't start from a place of Christianity, the place you're starting from is not a good place. Now, you have every right to disagree with me on that, and I'm not going to tell you that you don't. That's totally within your rights. That said, though, if within your ideologies you try to fit Christianity and you try and fit it in with other belief sets, let me just tell you that you are making a mistake, in my opinion, because in my view and my way of looking at things, Christianity is mutually exclusive. And the thing about it is, it doesn't really matter whether or not what you're talking about is something as complex as mixing Taoism or Buddhism or similar with Christianity, or Hinduism with Christianity, or whether what you're trying to do is do something that a lot of people consider as simple as mixing things like astrology with Christianity. Oh, I'm a Taurus, whatever. You need to know that what you're doing is trying to mix things that, in my view, can never be mixed. Why? Because in my view, Christianity, as I've said, is mutually exclusive. You pretty much have to accept it, and it has to be your only thing, not just your primary thing. It literally has to be your only thing. Now, to be clear, there are discussions in the Bible about things that would be considered paranormal, for example. So, for example, there's talk about I think it was Saul, the King Saul in Israel. I think it was Israel. Anyway, King Saul having a visit with a worker in familiar spirits, which is essentially ghosts, for those of you that are wondering. It may be others, but typically it's ghosts as far as I know, and calling up a prophet, right? I can't remember if it was Samuel or who it was, but anyway, calling up a prophet in order to talk to him. And the thing about that is that makes me believe that there's probably such a thing, for example, as what we refer to as ghosts. Now, what exactly that entails and so forth, I don't know. I can't answer. But the point I'm making here is that Christianity does have a sort of a diversity within it of things that you can understand and believe. I know a lot of people try to incorporate what amounts to Judaism in their Christian practice. They don't necessarily incorporate the entirety of Judaism, but they incorporate certain aspects of it. And I understand that, even if I don't agree with it, and you should know that I don't. I don't believe that that's how that's supposed to work. That being said, I do believe that Christians ought to be paying attention to the Old Testament of the Bible and therefore should be knowledgeable of Judaism. And I do also believe that the Jews are God's chosen people and that they should be looked at as such. right? Now, in my personal opinion, that's the family of the Jews and not necessarily people who decide to take on Judaism as a belief set. But I don't guess it's probably harmful to hold in special esteem both those who are born of the Jewish lineage and those who practice Judaism as a faith. I don't suppose it hurts to hold them in higher esteem than other people. The truth is, being totally honest, I don't think there's anything wrong with being careful to not be harmful, to not be wrong, to not be arrogant, to not be ignorant towards all other belief sets. I just think that you need to recognize what's correct and what's incorrect. That's all, right? Past that, I don't think it's your job. I don't believe it's your job to say to people, well, you should be a Christian, and if you're not, I think I should persecute you or anything like that. I don't think that's a reasonable thing. So I'm not trying to say that. That's not where I'm trying to go. That's not what I'm trying to get to. What I'm trying to say simply is this. If you're not a Christian, let's start there. Let's start with if you're not a Christian, because it's easier, right? If you're not a Christian, in my opinion, you're already out in the weeds. That's my personal belief. You can agree with that. You can disagree with that. It's totally up to you, but I want you to know that that's how I think about things. And I don't want you to think that that means that I will treat you badly or respect you less as a person or anything like that. I just don't consider that your position is a good one. That's all. And I'm quite sure that you could make the same position with me with regard to my being a Christian. And I'm okay with that. I'm okay with you doing that because I believe what I believe and I have what I think is good reason to do so. So that's starting out with those folks who are not Christians. If you are a Christian and you're trying to incorporate things like astrology and other belief sets that are found on the planet that cannot work with Christianity, which is almost exclusively the case. Like I say, almost everything is mutually exclusive to Christianity. So if you try to incorporate those things, and astrology is one that really bugs me because it's very much a creeping thing that people don't even realize that when they say I'm a Gemini, I'm a Taurus, I'm an Aquarius, I'm a Capricorn, whatever, they don't realize that what they're saying is I'm supporting astrology regardless whether it has any place in my life as a believer. And I don't think it does. I don't believe it has any such place in your life. I'm sorry, I just don't think so. So the point of all of this, like I say, is to say that when you mix beliefs, that's up to you if you're not a Christian, and it's up to you if you are a Christian, but you need to know that if you're not a Christian, I believe you to be confused, and if you are a Christian and you mix your Christianity with other things, I believe you to be confused. This is where I would put things. This is how things are for me. It doesn't mean that you can't do it, but it does mean that I consider it to be wrong when you do it, and that I'm probably not going to change my opinion on that. To me, it's much akin to when somebody says I'm a Christian, but I believe that a mom can kill the baby in the womb, and I really have a problem with that, even if the woman's been raped or whatever. The kid isn't responsible for that. The kid didn't do that. There's the life-threatening argument for that. But anyway, the point is, to me, that's another set of beliefs that's incompatible with Christianity, in my view, is that it's okay to abort babies. In that case, it's a belief that's maybe not spiritual in nature. In my belief, it actually sort of is spiritual in nature because you actually take that child and treat them as if they do not exist. And I'm pretty sure there's scriptural and spiritual reason to believe that baby was a child before they were in the womb, much less afterwards. When babies die through miscarriages, I consider it to be a very unfortunate thing. I do. When babies die as a result of some sort of accident, I consider that to be unfortunate as well. All right, I need to go ahead and wrap it up, so I'm going to go ahead and do that. Today, again, is Monday, the 28th of December of 2020, and I'm glad you come along, again, whether it's on YouTube, on Rumble, or on the podcast. Thank you for doing so, and I'm glad to have you here today. Tomorrow will be Tuesday, the 29th of December of 2020, and again, I hope to see you then, but if I don't, that's just life. I get that you have almost certainly a busy existence like the most of us do. In the meantime, though, I hope your day is a good one, and hopefully we will see you again tomorrow. The speaker on this edition of the Daily Summation is Kurt Schubert. This video is recorded on Monday, the 28th of December of 2020. The Daily Summation is created for Kurt's Religion and Politics. Thanks for watching this edition of the Daily Summation from Kurt's Religion and Politics. I hope you found it entertaining or instructional, or maybe both. If you want to see more from me, you can go to blogs.kpschubert.com. That's blogs.kpschubert.com. I am on Twitter, Parler, and Minds.com. My handle on each of those is @kpschubert. That's @kpschubert. I have a Rumble and a YouTube channel. They are the Kurt's Religion and Politics channels on Rumble and YouTube. I have a Facebook page. The Facebook page is Kurt's Religion and Politics as well. I am on Patreon. If you want to support me, that's one of the better places you can do that. And you will find me at Kurt's Religion and Politics on Patreon. I have a podcast. The podcast is podcasts with an S, .kpschubert.com. That's podcasts.kpschubert.com. I think you should be able to find me with relative ease on Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, and Spotify as well. The best way I find to do that is to look for Kurt's Religion and Politics. You can try to use the Daily Summation. I find that it doesn't work as well as a general rule, but you can always try that. I'm glad to have you aboard today, and hopefully we will see you again tomorrow.